it down here so your fingers.
I want to thank the elected officials that are here today. So if you're an elected official, please stand up. Congressman Swazi, Comptroller Kennedy, you're already standing. There you go, guys. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. After the event, we will be serving breakfast burritos. Boy, I hope they have enough. That's a lot. There's water stations, so if you get thirsty, if you don't need to sit and you see somebody that does need to sit, please give up your seat. Next year, we'll have more chairs. Again, I mentioned it earlier. Whoever wants to be part of a video, and it's called the FU video, and I know there's a lot of kids here, but that's what we think about 9/11 cancer, FU. So if you want to be part of that video, we'll be doing it behind the wall, and you guys can be in that video. Also, please fill out a form, buy a brick, buy a paver, buy a plaque that goes on the bench on the wall. It helps keep the park beautiful, and it helps us be able to do this every year. I think that's everything. Did I get everything? Good? Yeah? All right, with that being said, Caitlin Burney.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, my twin brother, Reverend Bill Mincy.
I'm glad the truth is out so you all know where I get my handsome good looks from. There's no better place we could be on this planet today. There's no more hallowed ground that we could stand on today. Thank you, Lord. I ask you to bow your heads in prayer with me. Almighty eternal God, as we stand on this ground today, bless these families. Bless the families of the men and women in our United States military, our law enforcement, our fire service, our EMS. Bless them and their families today, wherever they may be in service, right now in Houston, right now in St. Croix, right now in Florida. Thank you for a great country that provides a way to help. And this day, thank you for the blessing of enshrining these names of heroes on the walls here, but more importantly, on your Hall of Fame wall of heroes in heaven. Today, let these children understand that they are the torch bearers to tell this story decades from now as their children and their grandchildren come, about a man named John Field who was injured, about those who were injured and became sick, and about the determination that they would never be forgotten. I look now at my buddy Thule and Alex looking on, blessing this service with John McNamara and so many others, and my buddy Ray Pfeiffer today, as they watch from on high. Yes, we are here to honor you, to pray for your family, to pray for the future of this nation, that it will have more men and women that are heroic in standing and of character and integrity. Every child here that's associated with one of these families going on this wall, you are part of a rich legacy. You are royalty in this world, not to be better than anyone, but to look at everyone and be willing to serve. We're thankful for the blessing of this day. Thank you for those that have come to honor these heroes. Guide us to be a better nation, to be better neighbors, to be better people, one to another, as this nation goes forward and continues to recover from 9/11, hurricanes, and any tragedy that's befallen us. We are the United States of America, and we are one nation under you, God. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Mom always liked him better. You know, all night I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I had the speech prepared, but then I want to tell you what happened this morning at 7-Eleven. Every morning I go to 7-Eleven, and we get coffee, take the dog for a ride, and there's two guys in there, and I'm getting my coffee, and the one guy goes to the other guy, he goes, I can't believe they're closing down the intersection up the road. At first, I didn't really think about it. And then he's like, yeah, 16 years later, man, those people need to get on with it. And I want you to know that person's here today, but I won't point them out, because I invited him here after I had a conversation with him. So I'm letting them go on, and they're talking, and they're like, 16 years, it's time to move on, and, it's an inconvenience that they're closing down Smithtown Boulevard and Gibbs Pond Road. It's a main artery. So I got online, I paid for my coffee, but here's the thing. Every morning, whoever's in back of me at 7-Eleven, I buy their coffee. So I bought their coffee. But then I waited for them to come outside. Steve, I didn't beat them up. Nobody got the 911 call. So I said, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? He goes, yeah, what's up, man? I said, that park I helped build, I helped create, I'm that inconvenience. But how do you tell somebody to move on? See, they call it a scar. Scars heal. That's bullshit. It's a scab that keeps continuing to fall off with every anniversary, every birthday, every anniversary. It's a scab. It never heals. Next person that tells you to move on, get on with your life, have them call me. I'll talk to them. So I spoke to the man, Chris. I said, did you ever lose a loved one? He goes, yeah, my son died of a heroin overdose. I said, did you move on? He goes, no, I think about him all the time. It's only been 3 years. I said, well, if you're not moving on, why do thousands of people have to move on? And I don't think he still really grasped it yet. I said, well, when was his birthday? I mean, what about the holidays? Oh, yeah, it gets to me all those times, too. And it gets to me every day. I miss my son. I still haven't, his bedroom's still intact. I haven't moved anything. I said, do you have other kids? He goes, yeah, I got 2 other kids. They have their own rooms, but they're not allowed in his room. So, again, I went back to, how do you tell a widow or a 9/11 responder who's sick and dying, or a 9/11 responder who spent 10 years in D.C. to move on? What's the difference between 16 or 3 or 24 or 8? A scab is a scab. There's no cream for our scab. There's no cure for our scab. We created a World Trade Center health program, and they're here today. Thank you. But the World Trade Center health program or the VCF, they have no cure for a scab. I don't expect anybody here to ever move on from 9/11. How fat is fat? How tall is tall? Everybody's perceptions are different. But if you suffer, then we suffer. we're all in this together. Never, ever, ever let anybody tell you when it's time for you to move on. I wish I would have remembered my speech last night, but I had to tell that story. I had to share it with you. And I hope that man here today, Chris, sees the love and the support for each other here today. And maybe Chris will go to other support groups for people that lost a child to heroin overdose. And maybe Chris will admit that his scars are scabbed and that it's all right to not move on, but to embrace it. You know, we all, on Monday, as a nation, we mourned. Every emotion came out. To me, tomorrow is my anniversary when I got injured on September 17th. I'll be a bowl of jelly tomorrow. But I embrace it. I embrace this park. I embrace those who are here today. I embrace Jen McNamara posting on Facebook every 5 minutes. I embrace when somebody loses a loved one. I don't run away from it. We're there for them. And we should all be there for each other. You know, on Monday night I gave a speech in Comac. And I said to everybody there, today, when Reverend Bill was up here, we all prayed in peace. Nobody prayed in anger. Nobody prayed to hurt anybody. So if we can pray in peace, we can leave here today in peace. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or a Democrat, black or white, Jewish, Muslim, it doesn't matter. Leave here in peace. Live your life like that. It's so much better when you embrace what you don't understand. On behalf of the Feel Good Foundation in the park, we are humbled that you all came out here today. Without any further ado, President of the park, Martin Aponte.
Good morning, everybody. How about a big round of applause for my chairman, Mr. John Field. And my speechwriter. Thank you, John. Welcome to our park. Our park here, spearheaded by the Feel Good Foundation, built by labor and love, and run by ordinary people who try our best to honor the extraordinary people. My name is obviously Martin Aponte, and I am the president of this beautiful memorial park here in Nesconset in the town of Smithtown. But I would like to think of myself as a composer who ensures all our board members, stand up, please. Who I consider are all in sync. Each and every board member helps write the music to keep this park maintained and beautiful and ensured we have a beautiful, peaceful reading of the names each and every year. For that, I am grateful for the continual loyalty and dedication to the 9/11 community. But I am more grateful to the loved ones here today for the first time, and to all the others who come each and every year, one of these somber events. There is no greater love than knowing my board has helped us serve the 9/11 community now and almost 8 years later. And it is my sincere hope that we continue to serve this community of heroes for another 80 years. This park is a book. Every garden, the clock, the statues, the walls, the names, and all the walls and pages that tell a story that started 16 years ago. Sadly, this book has unlimited pages, and this book will most likely never be completed in our lifetime. But trust is a good read, and better yet, a good start to pass to the younger ones. The younger generation who can learn of yesterday's heroes and sacrifices they performed for this great nation. In closing, we are here at the park and here for a purpose. We are all volunteers that take one daunting task and making sure we honor these lost ones from 9/11 related illnesses and more importantly, to continue to inform the public, there is a place called 9/11 Responders Remembered Park here in Smithtown, in the beautiful hamlet of Nesconset. To the public so that they can witness the greatness. And what means by greatness is those on our wall. And this park has achieved greatness, not because they passed away, but because the way they lived. I thank each and every one of you personally for coming out here this morning. Thank you, and God bless America. Thank you.
We're not related. Now to read the names of those on our wall. And so you know, 141 people passed from September to September in one calendar year. We added another 15 that finally met our criteria. That's 156 names. We have 8 rereads from previous events that a family member could not attend. So bear with us as Michael Barish and Noah Koslewski read 164 names.
Before we get started, Noah and I just want to let you know how privileged we feel to be helping the 9/11 community, and to John especially. It's a pleasure to be here today. Please excuse us if we don't pronounce the names totally accurately. We'll do our best. Firefighter Owen Carlock, FDNY.
Firefighter Joseph T. Callahan, FDNY.
BC Lawrence Burns, FDNY.
Captain Sheldon Barakis, FDNY.
Correction Officer Robert Shore, NYC, DOC.
Captain Gerald E. Mines, NYPD.
Correction Officer Antolino Rekic, NYC, DOC.
Detective Thomas Ward, NYPD Joint Terrorism Task Force.
Lieutenant Robert D. Rice, NYPD.
Paul J. Schembeck, Local 638.
Captain Peter L. Pashera, NYPD.
Detective Annetta G. Daniels, NYPD.
Sergeant Jacqueline C. Schaefer, NYPD.
Daniel J. Bales, Assistant District Attorney and volunteer.
Lieutenant William E. Cox, FDNY.
Detective Charles G. Gittens, NYPD.
Detective James W. Monahan, NYPD.
Police Officer Matthew J. Gay, NYPD.
Police Officer Alexander Figueroa, NYPD.
Sergeant Michael J. Galvin, NYPD.
Sergeant Louis R. Pioli, NYPD.
Sergeant Charles R. Gunzelman, NYPD.
Sergeant Wayne A. Jackson, NYPD.
Detective Leroy Dixon, NYPD.
Firefighter Arthur B. Iannacci, FDNY.
Captain Robert E. Watt, FDNY.
Anthony E. Piscatelli, Local 3.
Mitchell D. Lax, MTA.
Charles J. Ferguson, Maintenance Worker.
Joseph Casella, Department of Transportation.
John LaPointe, Ironworker.
Robert LaGreca, New York City Department of Sanitation.
John Daly, New York City Department of Sanitation.
Joseph F. Fitzpatrick, Department of Transportation.
James M. Dunn, Lucent Technologies.
Douglas Wilson, Verizon.
Lieutenant Kenneth W. Rosello, NYPD.
Thomas D. Dopfner, NYPD.
J. Calio, volunteer.
Sergeant Kerry J. Winters, Ulster County Sheriff's Department.
Michael L. Marolo, Local 15.
Lieutenant Gerald J. Masson, FDNY.
Charles F. LaGreca, Local 282.
Stephen Cull, Local 15C.
Lieutenant Ronald D. Biller, FDNY.
Investigator Paul R. Stewart, New York State Police.
Raphael E. Scarpitti, Auto Mechanic, FDNY.
Lieutenant Gary J. Gates, FDNY.
Fred Goosen, New York County DA's Office.
Corporal Harvey Snook III. Arlington County Police Department, I think?
Yes. Lieutenant Jacqueline McCarthy, NYPD.
Captain Vincent R. Ungaro, FDNY.
DC John W. Hart, FDNY.
Firefighter James J. Garrity, FDNY.
Captain Vincent M. Giamona, FDNY.
George Papaleo, Buildings Unit, FDNY.
Timothy Carson, Rhode Island DMAT 1.
Firefighter Paul F. Santoro, FDNY.
Lieutenant John Rodriguez, Yonkers Fire Department.
EMT Brian M. Cobb, Lifestar Response.
Detective Gerard Ahern, NYPD.
Police Officer Mel J. Faust, NYPD.
Caesar A. Santana, ATF.
Police Officer William King, NYPD.
Firefighter John A. Dunn, FDNY.
Staff Sergeant Stephen J. Acevedo, Army Reserve.
Lieutenant Frederick W. Gray, Broad Channel Fire Department.
Christopher B. Callahan, Local 608.
Lieutenant Donald J. Urbano, Albany Fire Department.
Lieutenant Raymond W. Alexander, FDNY.
Vernon W. Voss Garner, Contracting.
Jorge Figueroa, Army Reserve.
Firefighter William J. Weeks, FDNY.
Sergeant Robert Patrone, NYPD.
Firefighter Joseph P. O'Toole, FDNY.
Robert A. Supino, Panavision.
Police Officer Judy A. Gani, Barunas, NYPD.
Lieutenant William Fearon, New Jersey State Police.
Charles Flickinger, Lake Carmel Fire Department.
Peter S. Guyett, Yonkers Fire Department.
Police Officer Christine A. Riley, New York Police Department.
Firefighter Harry L. Davis, FDNY.
Detective Stephen T. Kubinski, NYPD.
Aiden E. Gonzalez, photographer.
Firefighter Robert W. Johnson, FDNY.
Supervisor Silvano Flagar, New York City Department of Sanitation.
Firefighter Kevin A. Rooney, FDNY.
Firefighter Brian Masterson, FDNY.
Lieutenant John Rowland, NYPD.
Firefighter Robert F. DiGiovanni, FDNY.
John W. Kelly, FDNY.
James G. Malloy, NYPD Emergency Services Unit.
Lieutenant EMT Edith E. Coyne, NYPD.
Jack C. Waugh, Local 40.
Lieutenant EMS Mario Bastidis, FDNY.
Lieutenant Michael P. Shea, NCPD.
Firefighter Roy E. Smith, FDNY.
Firefighter James Lanza, FDNY.
Police Officer David Guevara, NYPD.
Firefighter Robert A. Mantrasti, Fairview Fire Department.
Peter N. Catello, Electrician.
Detective George C. Ramounds, Jr., NYPD.
Michael Lombardi, Local 3.
John T. Barrett, OSHA.
Christopher Madden, Corporate Security for Merrill Lynch.
Police Officer Anthony Giambra, NYPD.
Gary L. O'Connor, Volunteer.
EMS Mark A. Harris, FDNY.
EMT Emery Taylor, FDNY.
Detective Sean Franklin, NYPD.
Detective Luis Alicia, NYPD.
Specialist Barry Green, INTF-1.
William T. Salvatore, Pennsylvania TBA.
Betzalel Steinberg, Hatzola EMS.
Thomas E. Dalton, Verizon.
Lieutenant William J. Kelly, FDNY.
Police Officer Kelly C. Korchak, NYPD.
John Canari, Local 282.
Firefighter William J. Gromley, FDNY.
Detective William Canane, NYPD.
Police Officer Wilfredo Corradero, NYPD.
Firefighter James Kennelly, Massapequa Fire Department.
Firefighter Clarence E. Wilburn, Ohio.
Supervisor Jeff Lois, New York City Department of Sanitation.
Police Officer Frank A. Seducato, NYPD.
Michael P. McGordy, FDNY.
Police Officer Robert Summers, NYPD.
Police Officer Jason H. Offner, NYPD.
Glenn Scarpelli, Chiropractor.
Kenneth Doyle, United States Marshal.
William R. Reynolds, DC 9.
Detective Joe Brodsky, NYPD.
Thomas D. Ryan, New York City Department of Sanitation.
Lieutenant Michael L. Duffy, FDNY.
William D. Christian, construction worker.
Louis DeBella, New York City Department of Sanitation.
Firefighter John O'Brien, FDNY.
Firefighter Robert Alexander, FDNY.
Firefighter Walter Torres, FDNY.
Lieutenant Cruz A. Fernandez, FDNY.
Firefighter Robert J. Ventriglia, FDNY.
Firefighter James M. Hicks, FDNY.
Firefighter Thomas A. Lynn, FDNY.
Sergeant Kevin A. Burke, New York State Department of Corrections.
Superintendent Wayne E. Bennett, New York State Police.
Battalion Chief Joseph D. McKeon, FDNY.
Captain Robert L. Pilcher, Utah.
Ajay K. Sardar, Edwards and Kelsey.
Firefighter Michael R. O'Hanlon, FDNY.
Detective John J. Greeny, Jr., NYPD.
Detective Anthony M. Angadi, NYPD.
Firefighter Raymond J. Pfeiffer, FDNY. So Karen, Taylor, for those who don't know Ray Pfeiffer, you lived under a rock. For those who did, you were blessed. This bell will never ring again. We want to give you this bell, Karen. Ray was taller in a wheelchair than most people will ever be standing up. So on behalf of the Feel Good Foundation, in the 9/11 Park, a grateful 9/11 community, the world, the universe, and beyond, we offer you this bell. The new bell that goes up will be now known as the Firefighter Raymond J. Pfeiffer Memorial Bell. Gentlemen.
Karen, please take this memory of Ray. We will love and miss him forever.
Please sit. And let's give a round of applause for the FDNY ceremonial unit. And those two firefighters that hand-delivered that bell to Karen, firefighter Brian McGuire and Lieutenant Michael O'Connell, both were part of our team in D.C. With Ray. So thank you, gentlemen. Now singing Imagine, Anthony, Fushan, and Joe Zogby.
Imagine all bright heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living a life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you care. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing for the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Whoa. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Take my hand and join us, and the world will live as one. Thank you.
The lowering and the raising of the flag. Flag that just flew over the park, also flew over the United States Capitol, is being given to Patricia DiGiovanni, whose husband, Robert, firefighter, FDNY, part of my DC team, passed away from cancer this year. Just like Ray Pfeiffer, Robert never complained. Was always worried about everybody else but himself. So Patricia, on behalf of the park, the Feel Good Foundation, the FDNY, we love you. Thank you.
Make wet. Make wet.
But let me tell you about these two guys. When I get them a new client, I give them their cell phones, not the office number. Last year, when a 9/11 responder wanted to commit suicide in upstate New York, it was me and Michael that stopped him from doing so. These are better men than they are lawyers, and they're good lawyers. And I don't like lawyers. So on behalf of the Park and the Feel Good Foundation 9/11 community, Peter, grab those flags. Marty, grab that flag. We present you guys with these flags. Thank you.
John, thank you very much. To be here today among people that performed acts of heroism, in memory of others who performed acts of heroism, it's embarrassing, quite honestly, to be given a flag, because we are not the equals of the people that are being honored and celebrated here today. So while I thank you, and I'm incredibly humbled, I just feel it's undeserved, but I do offer my sincere thanks. And I hope that what Michael and I are able to provide to our clients and to the 9/11 community in general is of some value, and that we are in some very small way worthy of this. Thank you very much.
John joked about how some of you have yelled at us. The truth is that, yes, a few of you have gotten a little excited. I think Noah and I feel like we've become experts in the field of PTSD, even though we didn't study it in law school. I did say to Noah before, we don't deserve this. This is for the 9/11 community. I mean, I think you'll agree with me. We are the luckiest lawyers in the world. And there are several of us, Matt's back there also. We're so lucky to be able to do a small part to help you guys out. We're so privileged, and thank you for everything that you really do for us. Thank you.
I'm going to have Comptroller Kennedy and Suffolk County Executive Balone come up together. They're forced to come up together because I could beat them both up. They're laughing. And they're going to say a few words.
Thank you, John. I was a little nervous when you started telling that 7-Eleven story. I have to admit. It is an honor to be here this morning with you. What I feel most of all this morning at this park is gratitude. Incredible gratitude as an American, as a member of this community, as a human being. First and foremost, for the families here who have lost loved ones. The names etched on these walls, American heroes, all flesh and blood human beings who were extraordinary individuals, who were part of their community, loved by so many, family and friends, who were doing great things in their communities, in our county, in our country. And their loss to us is incalculable. To all of the veterans here today, to active military service, to all of the first responders, thank you for your service each and every day, for what you do for us. We are constantly reminded of how vital and important you are and of the sacrifices that you make. I feel gratitude for John Field and Ray Pfeiffer and Robert DiGiovanni and all of them who joined with them, all American heroes. I feel gratitude for them for having had the audacity to chase senators down the halls of Congress and congresspeople and stand up and say, no, is not acceptable. It is not acceptable to force the people who represent our country to face the hypocrisy of saying that we laud the work and the heroism of 9/11 responders, but we're not going to provide health care. I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to Marty Aponte and everyone who is a part of this park, no matter when you come. It is immaculate when you come to this place. This is, you sit here, you stand here, you walk around here. It is immaculate. It is a sacred place, and I am grateful to all of you who helped make it so. On behalf of my family, on behalf of our county, thank you and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that what I would add to, if I can add anything to what our county executive has shared, is that each year when we come together for this ceremony, I am increasingly amazed at the number of people who come for this recognition. Kind of as John said, 16 years hasn't made it easier. In many respects, 16 years seems to have made it harder, because all those great men and women who ran to save our nation when it was at its most vulnerable point continue to pay the ultimate sacrifice, because we are Americans. And because as Americans, we know that there's more than just us. More than just our wives, our children. There's our country and our nation. And each and every one of these heroes stepped forward to save our nation. Make no mistake about it. But for their contribution, we would not be who we are. This is the least that we can do, to go ahead and recognize their sacrifice, their commitment, their dedication. And each and every year, we will continue to come together to pay homage, to pay recognition. But each and every day, given the opportunity, we'll help a 9/11 responder, survivor, a family member, or anybody that's part of this 9/11 community. And I want to take the opportunity to thank one of the 9/11 community in particular. That's Reverend Minson, John's twin, who candidly, ladies and gentlemen, ministers to all of us and helped both my wife and I in a personal time. He should be commended for what he does every day. Thank you, Reverend Minson. Like John said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go today in peace. Let's hold each other a little tighter, a little longer. Let's do what's important, tune out the noise, and remember, it's people that matter and all of us that count. Thank you for being here.
Don't start that, Brother John, just because he just gave you some praise, man. If you guys only knew. So I'm going to ask everybody, we're wrapping it up in the next 10 minutes, but do not get up, because we do have a flyby. So bear with us. But now, singing my favorite song, Caitlin Burney.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Burney, and we live in a troubled world. Once upon a time, a young girl named Dorothy thought she could make her troubles go away by simply wishing for a world without troubles, a world somewhere over the rainbow. Throughout her adventures, she learned that a world without troubles is only a dream. There is only one world. Today, we remember the courageous men and women who gave their lives to make our one world a better place. So as you listen to the lyrics, remember that it is up to us to make our somewhere over the rainbow a reality. Remember, when all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your... So over the come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Then why? And oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Thank you.
That's something in my eye. Is that the most angelic voice you've ever heard? My Lord, give that woman a round of applause. She does weddings, bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s, $2.50 an hour. We're now going to lay the wreath. I'm going to have Chris Tooley, again, the widow of a firefighter, and another man who never complained, like Ray, like Robert. This man was the true essence of a hero. And again, thank you to the firefighters. Let's give a round of applause for the pipes and drums. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our event. Thank you for coming. And sadly, we will see you all next year. Thank you.